Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tim Meyer, here for the Romeo Sports Recap, powered by the Mitt TV. Remember, this show is available on both YouTube and Spotify. And before we begin, a word from our sponsors. This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvromeo@gmail.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Romeo Sports Recap. I'm Tim Meyer with girls varsity golf coach Paul Scally. And Paul, how you guys do this year?
We finished second in our division, 8-2. So it's a pretty successful year for us. Definitely building blocks for the future, but 8-2 is. Yeah.
Well, I remember you telling me they had some younger players on the squad this year, and they really come through for you.
They did. I had a couple of freshmen to show up out of the blue that are playing in varsity matches. So the future's bright. We just got to keep building with them, and hopefully down the road we can actually beat up on Ford and take first place.
There you go. How'd you get involved in coaching girls golf?
I started out as an assistant coach. Coach LeBlanc was my predecessor, and when he took over the team, it was just him, and he needed an assistant. And I'd played golf with Coach LeBlanc forever, so he asked me to come on as an assistant, and I took over when he decided it was no longer for him.
And been going ever since, and you got a little help there too as well.
I do have some help. My assistant coach is Keith Bach. He is super knowledgeable about the golf swing, so he's really my right-hand man who can fill in whenever I can't be there for a practice. So he works well with the girls, and they respect him, and it's fun.
And I went to high school with Keith, and so that tells you how old he is. But I know I was asking him some advice because he was a good golfer in the day, and I was asking him some advice. I said, what should I do about my golf game? He said, well, he goes, take a couple of weeks off, then give the game up entirely.
That sounds about something Keith would say.
If you see my game, he's probably right. So how do the matches work? So the girls get to go to the golf course. And then what?
So what ends up happening is that in the max, 6 girls get to play in a match, and then the low 4 scores from those 6 girls count for the team score, and then they get individual points because there's 12 girls playing in a match, and then they get individual points as well. So wherever you finish out of the 12, you get points. At the end of the season, they tally up those points for the all MAC white team, and then the winner of tomorrow's divisional will actually get the MAC Player of the Year.
Ah, okay. So does everybody qualify for the state playoffs? Like football, you got to have so many wins, but in golf, how does it work?
Every team qualifies for the regionals, and then to get out of regionals, you got to be one of the top 3 teams in your regional, or one of the top 3 individual players that is not associated with a team qualifying for the state finals.
Okay. And where do you guys play your home
So our home
games,
our home course,
matches. Yes.
Our home course is Cherry Creek. We've been there for about, I think, 4 years now. So it's super easy for the girls to get to. They've been super helpful for us getting the girls onto the range. They get almost unlimited practice time during our season. And then they give them some discounted rates for range balls and stuff during the summer. But they've been super generous with us trying to grow the girls' golf game. We're one of 3 teams that play out of there, but they work with us, and we were just on the course practicing today, actually, so that's why we're running a couple minutes late.
Yeah, I like the chance that, I mean, you can practice your putting. They have good practice putting greens there, for sure, and that's probably about, at my age, that's about where my game's at, putting.
It's where you make up the most strokes,
Yeah.
and we work with the girls and drill it into them relentlessly that we save the most strokes on the putting green and chipping instead of driving, but they all like to hit the driver, and nobody really listens to us about putting, but I think they're starting to figure it out that putting is where we make up our strokes on the course.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your team and about the girls in particular. You kind of give me a little comment on each one of these girls. like Mia Arini.
Okay, so Mia, she's one of my seniors. She is working her way back into being one of the better golfers on the team. Obviously, when you don't play over the summer because you're busy working and trying to do other things, your game gets a little rusty. And she worked her way back into. I think she ended up playing in 3 matches and the county tournament. So she's working her way up. She's a senior. She's been around. I think she may have lettered as a freshman or sophomore. Sophomore. So 3-year varsity player. So she's one of my seniors. We're gonna miss her.
What about Lydia Asman?
So Lydia's a 4-year player. When she started out, she was super nervous and has developed into one of our top 4 players on the team. So there's been growth every year. So she's probably either my number 1 or my number 2 this year, with about right around a 50 stroke average, which is pretty good. So she's been around for a while, and we're gonna miss her when she's gone because she's just one of those girls that just brings a little sass to the practice and the eye rolls.
I bring the beer and Addison Eris.
So Addison, I want to say she's been with us for 4 years as well. She's another senior. Addison, unfortunately, the last about year and a half has been dealing with some hip injuries. She's a soccer player who also golfs. So we're just starting to get her back in the top form. So she's come on lately. She shot a 50 last week in a match, I think her 3rd match of the season. So she's right there. She's probably going to be one of our players that's possibly going to regionals for our team.
Oh, great. And Sophia Bargi.
So Sophia's a junior, been around the program for a couple years. Another one of the girls who can't seem to get away from the injury bug. She played in the JV match last night and unfortunately had something going on with her knee, so she couldn't finish. But she's trying to develop. She's trying hard. Shows up when she can. But just the injuries has kind of derailed her season a little bit, but it happens.
Yeah, part of sports, I guess.
Yes.
Anna Ferguson.
So Anna is a 2nd-year player for us. She's a junior. Kind of showed up out of the blue last year. This year, she is, I think, for sure my number 1. She's been shooting consistently in the mid to upper 40s. And she's just a bulldog. If she hits a bad shot, she's on the range and just working. She's there before I get to the range, and she usually stays later afterwards.
One of those.
Always grinding. Sometimes it's good for her to get away from the game for a minute and just not worry about swinging, but she keeps grinding away and doesn't listen, so she just does her thing.
And Avery Hackert.
So Avery's a senior, been around a few years with the team. She ended up qualifying for one of our matches last week, so she got to play in a varsity match. So she's another one of those that work got in the way of a lot of things over the summer for her, and she didn't get a lot of practice time. And once she started practicing more and getting back into it, her scores started reflecting that. So, but she's been around for a while, and we enjoy having her around, and she's fun to be around and keeps the spirits kind of light on the team with joking and just having fun.
That was my role. Mallory Mulholland.
So Marilee's another junior, 2nd year on the team. She actually played in the JV match yesterday. The JV team ended up beating Lutheran North in a scramble match yesterday, and she was on the team that ended up winning for us. Another soccer player who is trying to do 2 sports, and she's good at soccer. She could be great at golf, but soccer's her love, so that's where she's at right now. She focuses on that, but she comes when she can, and if she keeps working at it, she's going to develop into a varsity player pretty quick.
And they have another underclassman, Helena Murphy.
So Helena's a sophomore, one of the newbies to the team this year. She is one of my lefties, so it's a little challenge teaching her, but
because you're not left-handed.
I'm left-handed, but I play right-handed. So for me to try to reverse the swing is not something that's naturally easy, but she's working at it. She's also a softball player, so it's another one of those girls who trying to do 2 sports at once, and she gets there when she can. But she's a catcher in softball and loves that, so that's her prime love. But she's getting better at golf every time.
How about Addison Shaner?
Addison's one of my seniors. She's been on the program for 4 years now. Another one of those players that unfortunately the injury bug just got her this year. But she's always smiling. We call her Hollywood because she's always wearing sunglasses and having a smile on her face and enjoying life. But she
Your movie star.
She's a movie star. But she has fun on the course. She has fun with the girls. She comes out and supports her teammates when she's not playing in matches because she can't.
Yeah.
So she comes out and supports the team. So she's one of the better team players, just cheering on her teammates.
How about Emily Stillner?
Emily's one of my seniors. Definitely going to miss her. She's one of my other lefties. She's another one of those girls who is fun to have around. She's kind of quiet. She burst onto the scene, I want to say it was a freshman, and we put her in a JV match, and she shot a 43, and we're like, where'd that come from? And then she's been playing varsity ever since. So she's been just steady, struggling a little bit right now, but she's working through it and looking forward to big things tomorrow and next week at regionals.
Natalia Amadeo.
So Natalia's a sophomore. She's a soccer player who's just starting to pick up golf. I think the golf bug got her now, and she really wants to focus. She wants to work over the winter. I was walking with her yesterday at the JV match, and we were just talking about the fact that the more she would practice, she could be really good. And it's just one of those things where she was trying to divide time between soccer and golf. But I think the golf bug finally got her. So now we hopefully see her develop as a junior and get into varsity matches and work well for the team.
Well, that'll be great. Adrian Aris.
So Adrian's a freshman, younger sister of Addison, another one of the soccer players who's doing two sports. But I think seeing her sister play more kind of helped her get into the, golf may be a good thing. So she's been working, kind of new to the game. So we're just trying to get her going, and hopefully we can keep developing her next year and be part of the future that we're looking bright. We got a lot of young players.
Sabrina Delicio.
Sabrina's another freshman. She was part of the winning group yesterday against Lutheran North. Another girl that, if she keeps working at it, it's there. It's just we got to find confidence in her to have her believe in herself. But when she hits the ball, she hits it a country mile. So it's one of those things where if we can just get her to believe in herself and believe in her swing and trust it, she's going to be right there going part of the future for us.
And Eve Eschenberg.
So Eve is a sophomore. My favorite thing about Eve is probably 2 weeks into the golf season, she came to me because she's brand new to golf and said, how long does it take to get good at golf? And when I said
I've been trying my whole life.
It's not something
could be a lifetime,
it's not something you get overnight. And she was just like, okay. And she's not used to having to struggle with a sport. And so that just told me that, she wants to get better. She's working at it. She's always got a smile on her face. And even if she hits a bad shot, she kind of laughs it off. And I'm like, forget the last one, focus on the next one. Mm-hmm. So she's going to be there if she keeps working at it.
Okay. How about Allie Ferguson?
Allie's another freshman. She's the younger sister of Anna. Allie's gets dragged there with her sister early and stays late.
Because her sister's staying.
Because the sister's driving her, so she's there.
Yeah.
If she commits to it, she can be really good. I mean, the swing is there. It's just one of those things where I'm not sure if golf is her main thing right now, but if she commits to it like her sister does, she's going to be just as good as her sister, if not better.
And Rachel Calais.
So Rachel's I want to say a junior. She played yesterday in the JV match as well. So she's been on the team, I believe, 2 years now. She's learning. And, it's another one of those girls that we don't cut anybody. And, as long as she's willing to work, we're willing to work with her to teach her. So she's developing and keeps going. So hopefully she comes back next year.
She's teachable.
She is.
Or coachable, as they
very,
say.
very coachable.
Yeah.
When we give her feedback, she responds to it in a positive way, not, why are you picking on my swing? It's, hey, we can work on this. But she played pretty well yesterday in the match. First time playing in a match against another school, so there were a lot of nerves. But once she got over that, she started hitting the ball pretty good.
That's good. That's good. Eddie Karowitz.
So Eddie's a newcomer to the team. She's a junior. I've coached her in softball before, but she just popped out of nowhere this year at tryouts and turned into one of our top 4 players on the team. So she's been averaging, she shot in the 40s, right around 51, 52 is her stroke average. Mm-hmm. She's always at the course, always at the range. We've played an 18-hole event last week, and then she went out and played another 9 holes afterwards. So she's not one of those kids that just keeps grinding and grinding and grinding. But I'm glad to have her and can't wait to have her next year so we can build for the future as having her one of our leaders.
How about Hannah Lertoya?
So Hannah's one of our freshmen, one of the freshmen that just kind of popped out of nowhere. She's played in 5 or 6 or 7 varsity matches. She actually shot a 47 last week. It's there. We just got to get consistency out of her. But the future's bright with her as long as she keeps working.
Isabella Maizano. Excuse me, Isabella.
Izzy she's a junior. Another one of my former softball players that is kind of coming over to golf. Was talking to her yesterday. She's frustrated because it's not coming easily to her, which is a good sign. Girls that care enough, get frustrated because it's not coming easy. She's not giving up. She's keep working. We were talking yesterday about how to fix a couple of things, and she's coachable. So on the course is not the easiest place to learn something. So I'm giving her pointers yesterday during the match. She's like, okay, and trying to figure it out. Another one of my lefties. So that's another one of the things where I'm on the course. I'm trying to show her something. I'm like,
do
that's
lefties
back.
Have an advantage, you think, in golf or no?
I wouldn't think so. It's not like in bowling where they get the oil pattern. It's a little different, but they don't, not really.
Yeah.
That's
good because I always play with a lefty, and again, I'm glad to know that he doesn't have an advantage.
Yeah, no.
How about Brooklyn Misner?
So Brooklyn's junior, another girl that just showed up this year. I've known Brooklyn forever. Didn't know she golfed. One of our former players got her playing a couple of times, and she came out, and Brooklyn's made it into varsity matches. Having never been on the course before to playing in a varsity match in her first year.
That's pretty good.
So she's there. If she keeps working at it, and I know she's doing some lessons on the side and trying to get better. So I expect big things from her next year if she continues on with it.
How about Katie Murphy?
So Katie's another one of my sophomores. She's Helena's, I don't want to say twin, they're triplets. So her and her sister are on the team. She made it into a varsity match a couple of weeks ago against Lance Cruz. And she was so nervous, but we put freshmen and sophomores who've never played into a match where I don't expect much from them, just to get them in there so they can see what it's like. Once she settled down, she hit some good shots. If she keeps it up, she could be good. She's another softball player. She's a pitcher, so she's one of those that off the softball she goes. But golf is something she could do going forward, and I think she might stick with it, and hopefully she does, and we can hopefully keep her going down the development track.
About Reese Faines?
Reese is one of my juniors, another brand new player to the team. Hasn't played a lot of golf before. She played in one of our JV matches against Ike earlier this season. Super nervous. Once she relaxes and just settles down, she can hit the ball. She's very athletic. So, the old saying, give me an athlete and I can teach them to play any sport. She's athletic. We're just working on refining the swing a little bit, and hopefully she sticks with it next year and we can get her in some varsity matches.
How about Kathleen Rice?
Kathleen is another one of our freshmen that just kind of showed up out of nowhere. She played in one of the first varsity matches. She was the other member of the team that beat Lutheran North yesterday. She played well. She's young. She's eager to learn more about golf. And speaking with her, golf is her thing now. So she's all about playing golf. So we're excited to see what she can do next year with a full season, off season of work with us and getting some lessons on the side.
How about Tierney Toko?
Tierney Toko.
She's
a sophomore. Tierney's the one girl who, if I had to put money on a putt, I'd bet on her. So she can putt. She can putt like there's no tomorrow. So when we do putting games, she's usually the one that wins on the team. She's a sophomore. We're still working on her swing. So she's not played a whole lot of golf, but that girl can putt. So as we talked about, if you can putt, you can play well in golf. So I expect big things from her in the future.
And finally, Eva Webler.
So Ava, she came out, I believe she's a junior. She played in a JV match yesterday. Another young lady who's brand new to golf. And with, she's not afraid to say it. Yesterday she struggled, but she was like, I'm working on stuff. So these girls, as long as they're willing to admit that they got to work on stuff, we're willing to work with them. And so she's been, coming to every practice, working hard. And hopefully we can get her going and, get her in some matches next year as a senior and get her hopefully develop into something that she can do this lifelong and enjoy.
Well, I noticed, you've got a lot of players on this team. How do you balance your time and Coach Bach's time to help these girls? How do you parse that up?
So with 25 on the team, obviously, with the way I coach, I'm not you have to be at every practice. Golf is an individual sport, team sport. So if you're not coming to practice, I expect you to do something on your own. Once we got into season, what we ended up doing was breaking the girls into groups. Call it varsity girls, JV girls, however you want to break it, define them. But one group would go the first half of practice. Coach Bach and I would work with 10 girls at a time. And then when we're done with them, we'd send them over to putting green or chipping or somewhere else and bring the other group over. If they came early, if they had a question about chipping or putting, we'd tell them how to do it and then work with the girls that we're supposed to work with and then swap them out. But so we try to break them up into 2 groups so that way we can just work with more, because 12-to-1 ratio is a lot of girls.
Yeah,
coach.
that is a lot. And I do have to ask, though, you got the postseason play coming up.
Yep.
How do you see that lining up for Romeo Bulldogs girls varsity?
So with divisionals tomorrow, I'd like to think that we can give Ford a run for their money. We finished right behind them in the regular season, so I'm hoping that we can come out and shoot well tomorrow. We kind of, at counties a couple weeks ago, we kind of set a standard for us of where we're at, where we want to be. Hopefully tomorrow we take that next step to get closer to where we want to be. With regionals next week, I'm not going to lie, we got a tough regional. We got a couple of the top teams in the state in there, and then we have Ford and Stevenson that we have to. Only 3 can come out of that region. Yeah. So we got to pass a couple of teams to get there, and if we have a day, we can do it. And try not to put too much pressure on the girls, but just let them know that, hey, go play your game and let the chips fall where they do, and hopefully it's good enough for us to advance.
Well, congratulations on a successful season, 8-2, and we keep our fingers crossed for the postseason play that you will be successful there. The players will rise up to the occasion.
Hope so. I mean, as long as they represent us the way Romeo does, we should be okay.
And we'll keep tabs on them here on the Romeo Sports Recap Show and see how they do.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Paul.
Thank you.
Before we continue here on the Romeo Sports Recap Show, a word from our sponsors. This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvromeo@gmail.com.
Today, I am excited to welcome to the show, we've got girls varsity golf teammates. We got Mia Arini and Emily Steltner. Ladies, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So we're going to start off. Why don't you both just tell me how you got involved into golf, when you started, how you got interested, maybe who encouraged you?
You want to start? Sure. So, my grandpa is a golf coach, so he's been teaching me since I was 8 years old. So I just got more and more interested the more I grew up, and then I switched schools to Romeo and decided to join the golf team.
Amazing. So you've always been golfing then?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So for me, I started playing once I moved to Romeo in about 2016 because I could never play with those little kiddie clubs because they were always right-handed and I'm a lefty. Then my grandpa, who's lefty, who played golf, he gave me an old set of his clubs, and I started playing. I went to Greystone Golf Club, where I now work, and I just fell in love with it from there.
Oh, that's amazing. So you both kind of started young.
Yeah.
Had an interest in it at least, which is cool, from your families.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should talk about, for those who probably aren't familiar with how the high school golf season works, do you guys just want to give me a little overview of like what a match day is like for you, and then the structure of the season as a whole?
Yeah, so we play 10 matches in total, I believe, just like regular matches, not including counties, divisionals, or regionals. And we play five other teams, and we play them twice, so we play 10 matches in all. And I don't know if you want to add to that.
Got out of school early.
Yeah, we get
out of school. Nice.
Very early, yeah.
And it's a fall season, so
Yeah.
that's nice.
Mm.
So.
Yeah, got the good weather.
Yeah.
Usually not too rainy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can be.
Sometimes.
When we played Luther and North, it was pouring down rain and it was not fun, but we won,
sometimes.
so
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's what matters,
Yeah.
right? You stuck through it,
Mhm.
even in the rain.
Mhm.
Got the win. That's amazing. So you guys have pretty much wrapped up your season, your regular season, that is. So you finished with an 8-2 record,
Mhm.
and then you have regionals tomorrow, right?
yes.
So what are your hopes heading into regionals tomorrow? Maybe your thoughts on the season as a whole as well.
I mean, I hope we do well at regionals definitely tomorrow. It's just the fact that we all want to do the best that we possibly can just to get like, especially us as seniors, because most of us are seniors that are playing tomorrow, just to like do our best and like see a higher ranking than the last 3 years.
Yeah, I'm confident for the team because once they get out there and see what they're doing, they play good. So
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be good.
And then for the season with an 8-2 record, is that kind of what you were maybe expecting going into this year compared to last year? Or was that a little bit of a surprise?
It was a little bit of both, I'd say, for me, because last year I believe we were 6-4, and I think that's just because one of the harder teams did move up. But I did have confidence in us because we had a lot of strong, consistent players this year. So I thought, like, after our first couple matches, I knew that we were going to do well this year.
Yeah, it was a surprise to me, especially with all the new girls on the team. But we came out strong. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. Are you starting to feel like a little sentimental looking towards
Yeah,
tomorrow?
Status,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like, what's the process of tomorrow like then for regionals?
So we tee off at, I believe, 9 a.m., and it's an 18-hole tournament. And I think it's only 5 girls that go, and it could be top 4 scores or all 5, I don't remember. And it's just, we play with one girl we don't play with our teammates like we usually do in matches.
Okay.
We play usually threesomes, and it's just like one girl from each school kind of region thing. I don't really know how that works totally,
Okay.
but yeah.
So it's a little bit of a different
Yeah.
structure tomorrow that you aren't used to, but you guys are excited?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're both seniors this year, right?
Yes.
So do you just want to tell me a little bit about your plans for next year after you graduate from Romeo?
So I want to be in an apprenticeship program, either welding or electrician. So.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure yet, but I have like a dream job. Like I want to be a music producer, and if that, never works because you always got to have a backup plan, I want to major in marketing and then minor in music because I like digital marketing kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like the most interesting answers ever from both of you. Like, I love it so much. Golf still in the future? Yes?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, definitely for me.
I'll be golfing like every weekend.
Every night, yeah. With your families, maybe coming back to cheer on the team
Oh, for
next
sure.
year,
Yeah,
for sure.
once school ends, I want to go out like every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My goodness.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get out too.
Mhm.
Not nearly enough time. But so maybe just reflecting back, how many have you both been on varsity for? How many years?
I've been on all 4 years. You
Yeah.
started.
I started sophomore year, so 3 years.
Okay, so I know you got a lot to look back on, but do you have a memory that stands out? Maybe from this season, maybe from years past. That's just your favorite memory.
Well, Scally's candy. That's my favorite. But
gotta get rewarded somehow.
yeah, just like the motivation from both coaches, Scally and Bach, really I don't know, it's really nice having motivation from coaches.
Yeah.
So
A lot of my favorite memories are just like in general, like our practices with like we're all having fun. Like Bach likes to be really sarcastic, so that definitely
we
adds.
call him GG, Golf Grandpa.
Oh, Grandpa. Okay. Does he like this?
Grandpa
Is he okay with this
Oh
nickname?
yeah, no,
Is he
he
cool with
is.
this?
He
Okay.
He loves
encourages
all
it
of it.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, it sounds like you guys have a great team this year. Really excited to see what you do at regionals tomorrow. Maybe we'll have to have you back on the show. We can go over how it went for you guys. So thank you so much again to Mia Arini and Emily Stillner for joining me today.
Thank you.
I'm here with Madison Janabet. And Madison just finished talking to the girls' golf varsity team. Sounds like they had a successful season.
Yeah, 8-2 record compared to a 6-4 record they said the year prior. So that's pretty steady improvement.
And talking to Coach, it sounds like he's got some players that are really tigers out there. I mean, they really dig in and they really go for it,
And
which is important.
sounds like they have some good young talent too. So hopefully it can be good
Hopefully.
years to come.
Hopefully they can manage a successful run in the postseason.
Regionals tomorrow.
Romeo soccer.
Yes,
Coach Vinny Vasilevsky looks like he's got his team tuned up a little bit.
that he does.
What did you say the record was?
Yeah, 12-2-1. And they've got, let's see, how many more games they've got this season? Like 4?
Yeah, they're home on the 6th. It's senior night at Barnable Field, so y'all want to come out there to see them that night. It's a 4 o'clock match, but it is call it senior night, and then they go to Fraser High School, and then they're home for the districts. And I think they've drawn Utica, so that'll be a good match. That'll be 7:30 on October 11th, so that'll be a great match. Romeo football had a tough one on Friday night against Dakota.
Got a little beat up there.
Yeah, that we're kind of unable to mount a consistent offensive attack, and they got sort of physically on defense as Dakota just kept pounding the ball, and then they hit one big long pass, and but not for the kids not trying. I mean, they all made great efforts, but just came up short. So they got a big game Friday.
Yeah, at
Chippewa Valley, and Chippewa Valley beat Dakota, but then Eisenhower beat Chippewa Valley, and Romeo beat Eisenhower. So.
Everybody's tied in the league standings.
Yeah, so it depends how they match up. They match up good against Chippewa Valley. Maybe Coach Reines and the team can look for a W.
Yeah, hopefully start clicking offensively a lot more.
Yeah, and Victor Earl out there playing both ways. But last week we had Ryan Rillier on, and he picked up a fumble, scooped it up, and ran in for a touchdown. So he's been playing really good. So they're going to need efforts from those two guys again if they're going to beat Chippewa Valley. And then we got boys varsity tennis, which is almost finished. The 5th, they're up at St. Clair High School to play a match. And then on the 7th, they go to DeWitt and play in the DeWitt High School quad, I guess they call it.
Quads.
And
should be coming up on regionals pretty soon.
And then the regionals. And then the regionals, and then they'll be off and running. Hopefully we're going to have Coach Burr on a couple weeks from now, and he's going to come on the show. And
he's optimistic for a state's hopeful appearance.
Hopefully they will. Yeah. He's coming on, I think, the 17th. So that'll be the show. When we tape it, it'd be on the 17th. But that looks like that'll be a fun show if they can get some guys to show in the state playoffs.
Yeah.
He's
hopeful. So.
Yeah.
We'll see. They just need to deliver at regionals.
We'll see. We don't want any want.
Yeah.
And then the girls swimming, they still got plenty of matches. They have plenty of meets, I think, all the way into November.
Long season for them.
Yeah. So they're going to be away the 10th and the 17th at their next meets. But then they'll be at home against Utica and against Eisenhower on the 19th and the 26th. So you want to go to the Romeo High School pool. And watch the team swim and hopefully some victories for that.
And senior night too. You on the 26th.
On 26th senior night in the meet against Eisenhower. So that'll be
good matchup.
Be a good matchup. And then we'll also have the cross country team on the show. That'll be our next taping. And they are telling me there's 5 girls that are going to come on the show that all have a chance.
Yeah.
To do well in the state tournament.
I mean, Romeo has an excellent cross-country team. They're pretty consistent year in and year out, so should be interesting to hear from them.
Cross-country for me is like going from one end of the football field to the other. That's cross-country enough for me.
Yeah. Walking from one end to the
coming
other.
Back, it's dicey. Maybe.
Might need the golf cart there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even break into a trot, so...
Slow walk.
I'm a slow walker. But...
It's okay.
Oh, incidentally, we did. I didn't tell you this, but the Stevenson High School had a Hall of Fame for their first ever Hall of Fame induction last week, and there was a cross country runner who I didn't hear of, but she was in cross country, a legend in this Macomb County. She won every meet, every match. She holds records. Wow. She went to North Carolina State to run. And lo and behold, she got married and had 9 kids and homeschooled them all. And I go, wow.
Whoa.
Is that what running does to you?
Quite the story.
The oxygen to the brain and gets you.
Quite the story.
9 kids is a little much for me, but
Now she's in the Hall of Fame at
Hey.
Stevenson.
her husband was afraid to come home and ask what's new. And then finally, we're going to have on our show here, the Romeo Sports Recap, the girls volleyball team, and they're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And they got on the 7th. They're going to have they have multiple opponents. They're going to play at St. Joe Elite Sports Center. And then they come home and they play Lance Cruz North on the 10th. And, you got to go out there and watch the girls volleyball because it's kind of exciting. It's
Yeah.
a lot of action. And girls are just like the girls in the soccer team. Mean. They're mean.
Mean, a little
They-
ruthless.
They are. They're mean. And they finish up a couple of matches on the road against Dakota and Eisenhower. But we're going to have them on the show. We're going to talk about maybe around the trick-or-treat time, talk a little bit about their season and talk to their coach. So that'll be exciting stuff.
We're at the exciting point of fall sports in Romeo. It's starting to wrap up, starting to get ready for postseason.
Things are starting to peak a little
Yeah.
bit. And, last week, if you see this show, you probably want to see last week's show. We had a couple of coaches on from Romeo football that been around the Romeo area since the 70s and would be 2 guys that you want to consider when you start talking about players of the past in Romeo and who was good and great, and Coach Paul Murphy and Coach Greg Gamfield. And I'm very proud of those boys because I didn't have to go to the beeper once.
You made it all the way through?
I made it all the way through.
You were preparing to have to bleep some stuff out.
I was Coach Ryan has said you might have to get
Yeah.
the bleeper out.
It's okay.
And
They kept it PG.
they kept it PG until after they took the headphones on, and then it was like
Then they were free.
worse words than you would hear out of a stable boy.
Oh my.
But those guys are fun. It was fun to do that one, and gosh, we're looking forward to doing the rest of the fall sports, see how everybody's doing.
Definitely.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here on the Romeo Sports Recap. For Madison Janabet, I'm Tim Meyer saying we'll see you next time right here on the Romeo Sports Recap Show.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to this episode of the Romeo Sports Recap Show, powered by the Mitt TV. Remember, this show is available on both YouTube and Spotify. You can subscribe to the Mitt TV YouTube page and click the notification bell to stay up to date on the latest episodes of the Romeo Sports Recap. Or you can find us on Spotify and follow our podcast, Romeo Sports Recap. From the Mitt TV, I'm Tim Meyer, signing off with a final word from our sponsors. This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvromeo@gmail.com.